They say that what goes up must come down, but it seems like the discussion surrounding Beyonce's release of a country album is not coming down anytime soon. It's still up, and people are still talking about it like it's still fresh. Like Beyonce released that country album yesterday, but it's been out for a couple of weeks, and by now most people have heard it. But palm colors don't seem like they want to accept the fact that a black lady did a country song. A whole album for that matter. And one thing that I do like about today's video is the number of palm color fans that are rallying behind Beyonce and supporting her, and also confronting their palm color friends and families that have something against Beyonce's album. And that's the reason why the same music has the ability to break barriers and outer narratives that people thought wouldn't change. Now let's take a look at these videos, and also remember to leave your thoughts in the comment section regarding today's discussion. What do you think about Beyonce's new album? And what do you think about the palm color fans that are rallying behind her, and also acknowledging the fact that it was culturally appropriated from indigenous black people?
So, I kind of see where this girl's coming from. Maybe we should think about who does country music. While we're at that, we're gonna want to think about who's wearing turquoise jewelry, because it was made by Navajo, Hopi, Zuni artists, and who's wearing nail polish. Historically, when nail polish first came out, it was kind of for fast women. And who's wearing cowboy hat? Because that was like Mexican culture. And then we get to country music, and that was by African American. You're kind of lucky that Beyonce says that you can make it. Or maybe it feels like cultural appropriation all of a sudden because it feels bad to you. As it stands, all of these cultural things that I mentioned were meant for broad audiences. That turquoise jewelry isn't religious, it was made to be sold. Now everyone gets to wear nail polish. And that's why you should be very thankful musical genres grow and expand, so you can actually be included in country music too. I'm sure you took this video down so you can put up one that thanks Beyonce.
Controversial opinion, but if Keith Urban, who is literally from Australia, can be nominated for over 50 CMA awards, Beyonce can make a country album. And no shade to Keith Urban. I love Keith Urban. And country music loves Keith Urban. But Keith Urban is a white man from Australia. This ain't the music of his people. He ain't from here. I'm just saying, if we're gonna gatekeep things, we've gotta have a little bit of a higher standard and not be so blatantly racist. Feel me? I've said it before, I'll say it again. The CMA, the Country Music Association, was based upon gatekeeping and race. I haven't seen the documentary on Netflix. It's called Explained. There's one episode about country music. You should watch it. It's very fascinating.
Heart, bless your heart. Bless your heart with this one, honey. Let me tell you something, honey. I'm from Texas and I'm a white woman, so maybe you'll actually listen to what I have to say. Being upset about people appropriating Southern culture and starting at Beyonce is a very interesting choice. Some might even go as far as to say it's a very racist choice. But that's why you made the video, isn't it? Anything for those views, huh? Anything for the likes. First of all, Beyonce's from Texas, and she's always been very proudly from Texas. Beyonce grew up with a very Southern family, and she's always paid homage to her roots in Texas, even though she is a pop singer. Secondly, jazz, the blues, rock music, and country music were created by black people in black communities. You don't have to like it, but that is the fact of the matter. Third of all, Beyonce is more legitimate of a country artist than 99% of the country artists nowadays. None of these people actually live the life of most people who grew up in the South. And not only that, you want to talk about stealing influences? Most country music nowadays has a trap beat. I'm listening to new country music, which is never a personal choice, but whenever I'm forced to do it, I'm like, why does this country song have a trap beat to it? Fourthly and finally, everyone's appropriating Southern culture nowadays. You know how many people are wearing Carhartt? Where I'm from, Carhartt is the only you can only find that at a Tractor Supply store. And now people are like fashion bros are wearing Carhartt. Carhartt is the thing to wear, okay? It wasn't Supreme, but there was like this Walmart brand that became popular and became like a hype beast brand. But it was a Walmart brand that I grew up having to wear because the only place we had to shop was Walmart. We lived in the middle of bumfucker, and even then the closest Walmart was like a 25-minute drive. Just to wrap up my thoughts here, it's a new day, but no one had an issue when Lady Gaga created her country album. What about that part? No one had an issue when Lady Gaga created her country album. What about that part? Am I making that up? What is that? Am I making that in my head? Isn't that Stay Joanne? Is that not Jolene? Joanne? Whatever the fuck? I didn't hear y'all say anything about that.
Maybe I'm reaching. Just maybe. Maybe I'm reaching. But didn't Madonna, like pop queen Madonna, non-country singer Madonna, didn't she release a country album 24 years ago? In the year 2000? I remember vividly. Yeah. I remember I was like 12, 13 years old when that album came out. I remember my mom bought it because my mom was a huge Madonna fan. I remember my mama playing that CD in the crib. Mind you, my mama Haitian, bro. And she was listening to Madonna in her country era. Nobody was saying nothing, bro. Nobody was saying absolutely nothing when Madonna dropped the country album. They're like, oh my God, Madonna dropped the country album? Holy crap, let's take a listen. Oh, this is amazing. Nobody said a word, bro. 24 years later, Madonna makes a country album. And it's an issue. Y'all nitpicking, y'all find everything. It's safe to say Madonna even dropped a better country album than Madonna. Yet y'all got an issue all of a sudden that Beyonce made one. Beyonce's from Texas. She's country as shit. She's not from Northeast America. She's not from the West Coast. She's not even from Florida or LA. Bro, she's from Texas, bro. It don't get more country than that. And y'all got an issue. Why? Why is it y'all got an issue when a black woman is doing country? Especially being that country music was made by black people. I don't know. I don't like your attitude in this. Maybe I'm reaching. I don't know.
I wanted to quickly remind the hick people of this app that the country music you listen to isn't any more country than this song is. It's just a bunch of people who grew up in big cities within rural states and decided to make a career out of pandering to country people about things that they've never experienced in their life, like farming and ranching. But you guys eat it up when a white person does it, huh? Which is hilariously ironic when you consider that your entire culture is appropriated from minorities. Your clothing, cuisine, and way of life is entirely taken from North and Central American indigenous cultures. And your music, get this, is taken from African hymns. Nothing you have is your own culture. You stole everything. So you can shut up about what is and isn't country.
It's not country music enough for you because what, she didn't make a list? Do you know how many modern country songs are just lists? This is what this guy likes about Sunday. This is what this guy likes about country girls. This is what this guy likes about this country. You know how hard it is to find a modern country song that isn't just, I like big tractors and even bigger trucks, sipping on buds, hunting 10-point bucks. Well, this isn't country music. But when Taylor Swift came on the scene doing the exact same, that was fine. I wonder what the big glaring difference would be between Taylor Swift and Beyonce. If y'all out here listening to Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, and then came across stuff like this, you're like, what? I would understand that. But you don't like Beyonce songs because what? She doesn't talk about how much she likes Applebee's? Or she doesn't tell you to baby lock the doors and turn the lights down low? I'm guessing you didn't even know that most of your favorite country artists are faking their country accents.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Anytime that black people choose to jump into country, which they started, 8x5x11s will tell them that that's not country, even though country was made by black people. It makes no sense to me, because someone who arguably is probably the biggest star in the world, right, gets the blessing of four royalty country artists musically, comes in, jumps on several of her tracks and blesses her going into country. And someone who, frankly, dear, I don't even know who you are, comes in to do some shock rage value, hoping that the Beehive will come in, listen to your music, and then critique it and say, you're not making that good of music, so you can make some money off the spin back of rage, which we're not going to do, hopefully. It's just sad. It's like the dissidence of your thinking process is just so terrible that anytime a black person chooses to want to get into country, you guys have a problem with it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You didn't create it, you didn't evolve it, you didn't push it, you didn't do anything to it. It was already great by itself. And now because you guys co-opted, stole it, misrepresented, you guys think that you make these mediocre music that nobody else even comes in to critique or say anything about. But as soon as a black person jumps in, you guys want to critique and say, oh, it's not real country music, it's not really this, it's really poppy, it's all this. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Thank you, I appreciate it.
The most ironic thing is that country culture is built off of black and indigenous people. Now give me that turquoise.
Now, those were the videos that we had concerning today's discussion, and I'm very excited to see palm coloreds finally opening their eyes and supporting narratives that do matter to marginalized communities, because for a very long time these folks have been closing their mouths in situations where they're supposed to speak up. When you see something like this is happening, power to the people is been given. So I went ahead and did the research about maybe a famous black person that did country music and how maybe people responded to his contributions. And I met this guy known as Charlie Pride. Maybe you must have heard of him, or maybe you didn't, but I'm gonna read you something that I found interesting about his life and what he did in the country music scene. So Charlie Pride was a groundbreaking figure in country music, known for his smooth baritone voice and charismatic stage presence. Born in Mississippi in 1934, Pride grew up listening to country music and developed a passion for performing, despite facing racial discrimination and skepticism from some in the industry. Obviously palm color folks. Pride pursued his dreams and eventually signed with RCA Records in the late 1960s. I don't know if you ever heard of a record label known as RCA Records. I've never heard of it. It sounds like an old one. But Pride's debut single, The Snakes Crow at Night, was released in 1966, followed by a string of hits including Just Between You and Me, Kiss an Angel, Good Morning, and Is Anybody Going to San Anton. He became the first black artist to achieve widespread success in mainstream country music, breaking down racial barriers and paving the way for other artists of color. Now, that's one thing that I like about this guy, Pride. So he was one of those folks that made this groundbreaking contribution in the country music scene. So when people are talking about Beyonce doing a country album, she's not the first one. And as much as most country musicians from the black community have been sidelined, this guy Charlie Pride did some contributions, and it made it seem possible for blacks to participate in this genre. So Pride's contributions to country music helped broaden its appeal and reach new audiences. His success challenged stereotypes and demonstrated that country music was a genre for everybody, regardless of race or background. Pride's induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2000 solidified his status as a legend into the industry. You see that? So he was even inducted into the Hall of Fame in the 2000s, but nobody has heard of him. Well, at least I've never heard of him. Only today is when I've heard of him. Overall, Charlie Pride's talent, perseverance, and groundbreaking achievements have left an indelible mark on the narrative of country music, inspiring generations of artists and fans alike. And this is the same conclusion that should be made about Beyonce coming up with a country music album. Now, that challenges the norm of everyday music that we hear, and I see in the comments from the fans, they're really enjoying her song, her music. You know, I'm not really a country music fan, but it seems like from the lyrics that she put up in that album, people are really enjoying it. And now that shows you that she's making a major contribution in the genre. You know, people are tired of fake life. They want something more appealing in an authentic way. Not somebody who's never lived a life where you are just saying about things, chains, jewelries. You know, people are really tired of that, especially if the majority of communities don't even have access to such luxuries. You should be somebody that is authentic if you're gonna enter into the music scene. Now, I just pray that Beyonce entering into the country music scene is really gonna open doors for marginalized communities to be able to embrace the genre more. Because Charlie Pride made an indelible mark, of course, but it seems like from his time, most country music singers from the black community and from the community of people of color, they have been sidelined, you know, and maybe it was because it wasn't the age of technology and most people were not aware of maybe the things that were going on in the music industry. After him, the country music scene from the black community just went silent. And then I went to do some digging to find out if MJ might have done some country music songs. I found out that they never did that. He only collaborated with a country music singer known as Paul McCartney on a song known as The Girl Is Mine. Maybe you've heard of it in that collaboration. So I was just thinking, if Michael Jackson really did a country music song, or if he was involved in the country music scene, his impact, I think it would have been great, you know, like if Michael Jackson did that, it would have made a difference because he was the biggest artist at his time. And I'm not trying to sideline anybody's achievements in the music scene. I'm just saying that he was a global sensation during a time where the internet wasn't there, you know, social media wasn't there, but he was hosting billion-dollar shows. So my prayer is that Beyonce doesn't just end up making a dent in the music industry, but may her efforts continue inspiring others also to rally behind and come into the country music scene and start participating in it and taking charge of their musical careers. After all, black people are the authors of the genre and they deserve the credit. Now, tell me what you think about today's discussion and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Your valuable contributions add flavor to our discussions, and we appreciate you for always taking the time to visit our channel. I hope that you are our subscribed member and part of our community, and if you are not, please consider smashing that subscribe button and like this video. Share this video if you found it innovative, inspiring, or insightful. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Stay connected, stay inspired, and stay authentic.